Hello and welcome to Tatt2IQ with me, Draya Penzo. Today we'll be going over how I make gray washes for light to tan skin. Here's a visual of the breakdown, but you'll see I have it in the corner, so don't worry about it. I'll be going over each shade with you and how I make it. My first gray wash is my lightest tone, which is 10%. That means there's only about 2 drops of black ink and the rest is diluted. My second shade is this 30% and it has about 4 drops of black ink and the rest is diluted. Now this is a universal shade for almost all skin tones I do, but it's my 50% gray wash. And this consists of half black ink and half whatever I use to dilute, which is usually witch hazel. It's my favorite, but you can use distilled water as well. And now for our darkest shade, my 80% gray wash, which is mostly black and 20% whatever I use to cut my ink. And lastly, straight black, just so that you can kind of compare the black to the other shades that I've displayed here. This is always going to be your darkest tone and you want to make sure to get black in almost all of your tattoos. These are the tones I use for almost all of the tattoos I do on light to tan skin. Over the years, I've gotten super comfortable with this drop system and I'm able to tweak it according to the project I'm working on, and of course if my client is a little bit lighter or darker and I need to get those in-between tones. I think this is a perfect base for anybody to work off of, and you can get a lot of the in-between tones with this set right here, but always feel free to make other tones if you need to, especially if it's going to help with your project. After switching to this gray wash method, it was really hard for me to go back to pre-mixed sets, so I kind of like the fact that I can customize these gray washes however I'd like, and again for the skin tone that I'm working on. Now that we understand these gray washes, let's put them to use and actually do a smooth shade from dark to light. I'm starting here with my straight black, packing it in using small tight circles. And I'm also going to use a little bit of whip shading to just make sure that that black blends right into my 80% gray wash. Now I'm going into my 80% gray wash. I'm going right over the black that I whip shaded out, and I'm shading in this 80% using a pendulum motion, making sure that I'm blending the 2 shades in together. Now I'm going over that 80% gray wash with my 50% gray wash, again using a pendulum motion to blend the 2 together. Going back into my 80% gray wash, darkening up some spots and just making sure again that my blend from my black into my 50% is nice and smooth. I already put in my 30% and now I'm putting in my lightest tone, which is my 10%. Now that that's in there, I can go back with my 50% and really just blend everything out and make sure that it's a seamless blend from dark to light. It's so important to know and get comfortable with these tones so that you can do this really easily and without a lot of thought. From darkest to light, you can see it's a nice smooth blend. You can see the black, you can see my 80%, you can see the 50, the 30, and even that 10% all the way at the end. And this is what you want. You want to be able to go from your darkest tone to your lightest tone and do it gradually and very smoothly. Practice makes perfect, so continue to practice these techniques, and I promise as time goes on, it's going to become so second nature. You're just going to know how to mix these things perfectly just by looking at your client's skin tone. If you're interested in learning how to do this on darker skin tones, make sure to check out my other video for a little bit more detail on how to make gray washes for brown to dark skin. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if it was helpful, please make sure to subscribe and follow us for more videos and tips and tricks on tattooing.